Yeah, yeah. Oh! Oh! Woo! Oh. Good, good. Oh! No, you don't. That's what she. Damn. Appreciate it. Oh! Thank you. Hey. Oh, you got it. Coach. Awesome. Oh! There you guys, 5 minutes, that's it. 5 minutes and one goal. All right, brother. Knock out here.
The bulking has officially began. I know I said last week that the bulking was going to start last Tuesday. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Woke up Monday or Tuesday. I woke up at 2:37. And I was like, yeah, it's not time to start just yet. And the reason why it wasn't time to start, because from what I said from last week, I lost a battle to the point where it's like, I had leftovers, so I had leftover pizza plus also 2 leftover muffins. Yeah, that kind of just set me back a little bit to the point where Monday, I believe it's Monday, that I woke up at or Tuesday, like I said, woke up at 2:37, and I was like, yeah, we're not gonna start just yet. As much as I wanted to start on Tuesday, it just wasn't gonna happen. Just because it just wasn't gonna be officially set for me to gauge on how much I was going to gain from, again, to what I talked about last week, reversing back to my maintenance caloric intake, which is about 3,900. So this whole last week, I kind of just let myself, be in deficit again. So Monday, I kind of treat that as like my rest day caloric intake. So I only had about like 3,200 calories. And then Tuesday, I just kept it about the same. Again, like my deficit calories, about 3,300. And then I just kept it throughout the entire week. So, and thankfully, with me doing so, I was able to bounce back in down to my 233. Of course, it's not the low I had from last week of the 230, but at least I knew in that process it was working down to 233. So, and I told myself, like, cool, depending on how that Friday morning weight was going to look, I was going to either have a cheat meal or not. And unfortunately, thankfully, I was able to, because despite me, being a little 3 pounds heavier, I was able to still have my cheat meal. And after my cheat meal, I only gained 2 pounds after that. And then like going to Sunday, I was still at 235. So I was like, cool, I know I'm back in progress now. So now after I've seen that, I'm like, cool, now it's time to begin this bulking series. It's time to actually get back into the caloric maintenance. I'll chill there for about 2-3 weeks, and then we'll recess from there, and we'll go from there, to be honest. So, and a lot of times too, when you see me going this bulking, you might be seeing me being my meal. A lot of times in these videos, just kind of showcase you that it's easy, because I can just, talk to you guys, and also too, I can prep my beef at the same time. So, I kind of just had time to, get some meal prepping going for sure. Like I said, this only lasts me about like 3 or 4 days, which again, like I said from previous videos, it's honestly been nice. The taste is still there. I don't mind cooking like twice a week. I got no problem, because again, it's very simple. After I'm done with this, I'm just gonna be pretty much chilling, talking to you guys. So I can actually just beat this up a little bit later, to be honest. But yeah, and also too, if you guys remember, like from what my caloric intake was gonna be, I kind of switched out a food. So I'll show you guys in a second. I was gonna have potatoes, right, as my last meal. Well, it's not so much like I didn't want potatoes. It is, I like to find things that's a little bit more efficient, a little bit more time savior. That's how I work. So what I picked up at Costco was this guy right here. Some nice sourdough bread. So now what I'm gonna start doing is with me kind of going to bulking, but also too, with me actually moving this route using bread, I also picked up some burgers, pre-made, already too, time efficient, from Walmart too. Of course, they're gonna have 93.7. I probably will be using 93.7. I just grabbed 85.15 right now because they're Walmart just had where it's like 85.15 is like a pound a third, as opposed to 93.7 is only a pound. But again, I can always just make myself some burger packs just from the package I just put in actually right now. But again, that's something I like try to find, especially too, is like I don't like to try find things that is more time consuming than it is. Again, potatoes ain't really time consuming. It's just more of a hassle to, because potatoes sometimes don't last long. So you gotta figure out the right environment, you gotta figure out the right temperature, you know, you try and make sure that they don't start growing shit from their own skin. So that's what happened with my last batch, is I only used it once and I had to toss them out because they all started growing. So I was just like, well, it's just kind of waste. I don't really want to have to like get that many potatoes, every single, like a 10-pound bag, and just half of it just goes to waste because it's stemming from it. So I was like, what can I find a better source of food that I can utilize? And again, it's just more kind of time efficient and just, you know, a better meal. And honestly, like I used to kind of do this back then. It's like I went down, you know, the bread aisle, just kind of see what Costco had. They had this type of bread. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll just get this, grab some patties from Walmart, just put some lettuce on it, the barbecue sauce. Got myself a homemade burger, really, to be honest. I don't have to go out anywhere to get myself a burger. I can just make it myself. And also too, is like, since Walmart is already like packaged the burgers for you, you only have to do that extra step process. You just slap that bitch on the pan, boom. 10 minutes later, you got your burgers all set and ready. Just add your toppings, because I'll probably start getting some pickles too for that. And you got yourself a burger. Now you want to take it one step extra. Also too, because like with this, the macros on this bread, you got 100, so for one slice of bread, which is 85 grams, is you got 170 calories. It's only 1.5 gram of fat, only 31 grams of carbs, which I think is a great carb source. You got 3 grams of fiber too, and 7 grams of protein on top of that too. So, you know, for only 170 calories, for that amount, you know, the macronutrients you get from it, I think is a pretty good deal. And honestly, you can use like one bread and slice it in half to make a sandwich, and you can still just use that one serving. But again, like I said, that's like a steal. It's almost kind of similar to the potatoes, because potatoes was like 150 calories, excuse me, for 30 grams of carbs. So it's honestly almost kind of the same thing. Yeah, it's a little bit more, you know, 50 calories more, but again, it's a little bit more protein in that bread as opposed to the potatoes. But I ain't really tripping about it. Again, I just adjust it according to what I have or what I need on my plan. That's about it. But yeah, I'm excited for, you know, my last meal, making a homemade burger. And like I said, I'm excited to just go back in my maintenance. I'm just excited to go into bulk, to be honest. I'm excited to see what it turns out, because got down my lows at 230. And it was what you saw just earlier too, is like, you know, like I said in previous videos, that I love to play soccer with the boys. And that's where you just see me right there just playing soccer. I was like, who would have thought, you know, this behemoth would be playing soccer? No one would have thought. I didn't even think for myself, right? But I love it. I enjoyed it because it's like, it's a nice little fun cardio. Like I'm not even thinking twice about doing cardio. It's like, I love doing sprints, you know, like the running part is not so much of an issue where I really thought it was going to be. Like, yeah, it does get like tiring. Yeah, like we're out there for an hour, but I enjoyed it. Also too, it just brings out like the inner child. It's like the inner child that's inside me is like, that's just shit I love to do as a kid. You know, just go in the field to smell the grass, you know, the smell, just being in the sun, you know, just hang out with the guys, you know, just playing sport, just playing some activity, just, you know, roasting each other, bullshitting at the same time, and just playing. You know, and that's like the inner child that's like deep down inside me, and that's why I feel like it's like always gets like, you know, that inner kid just lights up the, you know, just gets lightened up when I'm on that field just playing with the guys. And it's crazy too, because when I first started, I wasn't like that. Of course, I'm still in the process of actually, you know, trying to get myself a little better. You know, I'm been working on my touches, been working on my passes, been working on my shooting, you know, the whole nine when it comes to soccer. But I'm just like, you know, I love how like I'm progressing with it. We were joking about it. It's like, you know, I was probably like a, you know, rating of like 59. You know, everything else is bad, the dribbling, the passing, the shooting, like you name it. The only thing I had like probably was above 90 was like the speed and just like probably the blocking, just like some other things, you know, soccer attributes to have. But other than that, you know, I would rate myself at 59 when I first started. Now I've been playing for about 8 months, and probably my rating's been going up to about 70, 80 now. So I enjoy it, you know. I don't try to be good at it. I just enjoy it, you know, because again, it brings the inner child out inside me to actually just have fun and just, you know, enjoy being outside, enjoy being with the guys, bring my inner child out, and just at the same time, just get some activity too. So I really enjoy it. And it'd be interesting too, because I've been playing soccer, you know, pretty much between like 234, 236 for the longest time. I was getting down to about 230. So like roughly between 230, 235, that's why I've been playing soccer. So it'd be kind of interesting to see, you know, when I'm going back in this bulk, and depending on how much I want to gain in this bulk series is, you know, how much of a factor, how much, you know, of a disadvantage will it put on me when I start bulking, when I start putting on size, putting on some little weight. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how that soccer goes. But other than that, yeah, there's not much really to it to this week, to be honest. Like I said, I wanted to start the bulk this week, but unfortunately, excuse me, last week. But like I said, you know, this is why it's important to have a bulletproof plan too. It's because, like, unfortunately, it's like as much as I would love to start last week, having an exact ideal bulletproof plan can't help you adjust according to the plan. Because at the end of the day, when you draw out the plan, like, yeah, it looks beautiful when you draw it out. Like, you can see from like from the start line to the finish, like you can see the process, right? But you know what, all plans, they're always gonna have to be adjustments. It's not ever gonna go the way you want to. So for me personally, the way my plan is, like, unfortunately, you know, again, last week I wanted to start the bulk. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, so I had to put myself kind of still in the deficit era in that week. But at the same time, you know, I'm able to adjust according to, because I can also get myself ready and get myself back in that same groove within that same week. It doesn't have to take me like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get myself back to where I need to be. I can get myself back within that same week. But that's based off because I have a bulletproof plan to get myself in that position. So when things don't go the way you want to, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all humans, you know. We just have to adjust according to, you know, what the plan is laid out, and then adjust according to what we need to do. Because again, like I said, I could have started that bulk back, you know, last week, but again, I won't get the right true, you know, progress, or like the true statue I would like to get if I was already kind of like inflamed and bloated from, you know, that over weekend indulgence of the consumption I had over the weekend. So I was like, let me just cool off again. Let me reset myself. Let me see how the week turns out. And like I said, thankfully it worked out the way I wanted to. Now this week, we're kicking and going. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's in store for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'll be showcasing you guys also to my workouts once each day, because I work out 5 times a week. So I'll showcase each split for you guys, just show you guys what I do. And if there's anything else you guys want me to showcase you guys, drop that down in the comments. I'm more than happy to showcase that for you guys. And yeah, I'm just excited for this bulk, to be honest. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna wrap up my meat. I'm just gonna get a meal into you, and then we'll just get locked in for this week, see what happens, and then we'll report back next week. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like it. If you guys want to stay up to date of my bulking series, how much I'll gain, how much size I put on, make sure you subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.